Good afternoon, everybody. It is 4:30, so we will call the meeting to order of the Butler Community College Board of Trustees, our regular board meeting. Today is January 10th, 2023, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
No, 2023.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See?
Yes,
My
no,
glasses.
no, I'm good. I'm good. If I have to, I'll pull my little light out and that'll anyway make fun of me. Shelby, do you want to amend? Do you want to amend? the
Yeah, I
agenda for
got
your
about
discussion
7
item?
things.
Several. Okay, well, the floor is yours.
One on, I would move to strike 10A, which is the affirmations of standards of practice, which is on the wall over there, which we did a year ago. We want to have that go around again. I'm happy to, but I'm gonna say everything I said before. And the last year was the first time we ever did it, and it said the KACC trustees adopted a recommended best practice.
Well, let's get a motion on the floor.
Okay.
If you want to amend to strike that, why don't we move?
Yeah, I just moved to strike it.
Second.
Okay, now discussion.
Anyway, they were supportive of doing it annually, which I can see doing it next year when the new trustees come in, but I don't need to do that every year. Oh, yes, vote no, I don't care. Driving on.
Any other comment?
I would just say, always since I've been here and even when Jackie was here, it was something that was done on an annual basis.
We haven't done that before.
Not like that,
Right,
but the
right.
affirmation always happened every single year. The board did that every single year, but
Happy to
you can do
discuss it.
whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, it was violated the month later. But
Any other discussion?
Is your microphone on? Well,
I hear me anyway.
no, it's hard
No.
to, when we go back and listen to the
Yeah,
minutes, we
it
can't
is.
hear.
But it's a great statement and, you know, in a lot of circumstances, it'd be okay, but I'm not really sure that. It's almost partisan, really. And I don't feel like that these rules or observations or commitments or whatever statements you want to call them they are neither applied equally nor they are observed equally and practiced equally. So, you know, unless we can all be grown up and be perfect, I don't really see any need to do that.
Okay, we're not voting right now on the
Okay, well,
affirmation.
we get to discuss. So
We're
there it
vote,
is.
no, well, the discussion is, should we amend the agenda? The
Oh,
discussion
okay.
isn't, do we affirm or not affirm? That's
That's what I need
That's
to do
later.
then, just.
so.
One more time, clarification on the
The
motion.
clarification on the motion, Shelby's motion is to remove the affirmation from the agenda, so it would never come up. If the motion fails, then it will come up as item 10A, and there'll be opportunity for discussion at the time that it comes up.
Trustee Good,
No,
trustee Jolly,
No.
trustee Rhodes,
No,
trustee Winslow,
Yes.
trustee Shear,
no.
trustee Smith.
Yes.
okay, that motion fails
Talk
4-2.
about it
Do you have any
Yep.
other amendments?
I have another, I moved to move the minutes, which is 11A to 10F, the board action items. I just had one clarifying sentence I'd like to add.
10A to what?
11A,
Or 11A?
no, sorry, I got the wrong thing. Yeah, 11A to 10F, just from the minutes from the consent to the action. I did the same thing last month, add one word or change one word.
We have a second for that amendment.
Second.
Trustee
it-
Good,
Are we going to do discussion?
Well, I don't know what to.
Well, you.
We'll have an
started,
opportunity
so
to
you had
discuss.
opportunity to
I can discuss it
all
going on.
that.
I just want to
Okay.
add it didn't really say in there, the board policy and state statute state that trustees shall be paid mileage. That sentence isn't in there, so
Oh,
I just wanted that, I made that point several times. I just wanted that in there because it
Sure.
makes more sense.
And it was your idea as well. Thank you.
Ready? Trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes.
Yes.
Trustee Winslow,
Yes.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 6-0.
And
Anything else?
you'd like to do it, Mr. Chair. I've got like 5 little things I'd like to add to board discussion items. Do we need to go through that one at a time, or I can just,
Are they 5 unique different items?
yes,
Probably ought to, as
Okay.
opposed to Shelby's thoughts probably isn't the right
Right.
discussion item.
That would be a good one.
I think if I'll let you decide how controversial you think they are. If we can address them in the aggregate, we'll just add the 5 items.
I actually have written down number 4, trustee thoughts, which is hilarious. I'll just go through it. I would,
And these
well,
are
just
for
let me say
action or
for,
for
one is just
discussion?
want to be a brief mention of that advertising thing I sent over. I don't have some big long spiel to say about it, just something quick. I just want to talk about the work sessions briefly. We had asked Dr. Mohammed about fall numbers. I didn't know if that goes in there.
It'll be, no, it'll be in his supplemental information
Okay.
discussion.
And then I was just wanting to mention, like, I would like to have a discussion about in the future to have during board strategic discussion, have a time where the board members could talk as a board of some thoughts we have or ideas just some general discussion between us instead of, we're kind of closed out of talking amongst ourselves sometimes when it's all so tightly
So
scripted for
is
us.
each one of these like D, E, and F and G?
Well,
I think it probably ought to be, because
Okay.
they'll each be addressed separately.
Okay,
So D was the marketing email that you forwarded.
yeah, I can make it official. I can read it officially if you'd like.
Okay,
me
yeah,
to.
go ahead.
I move to add items to board of strategic discussion. A would be advertising. B would be work session. And 3 would just be general trustee thoughts.
Okay,
And I
and
won't
I
worry
would,
about the phone numbers thing.
and are you okay if we change that to be D, E, and F, since we already have A, B, and C?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Do I
to
need a
that?
second again? I can second again.
what was F? I'm sorry, Shelby.
It was just advertising, work sessions, and then just general trustee thoughts.
So it'll now be G, H, and I.
No, it'd be D, E, and F. 9D. The new ones would be 9D, 9E, and 9F.
Oh, sorry. I was in the 10. Sorry.
Ready to call the
Yes,
roll?
please.
Trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes,
Yes.
trustee Winslow,
Yes.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 6-0. Any other proposed amendments to the agenda?
I would just say for the public record, when you're calling roll call, why don't you identify that trustee Brumgard is absent, or maybe just make that statement now, and that way the public knows as
that's-
well.
She refused to zoom in for some reason
Yeah.
today.
What time is it there?
I
What
don't know.
time is it there?
I don't need. I'm not sure you could.
She's
convince
watching
me
the
either.
Northern Lights right now, I
Uh-huh,
think. That's-
yeah.
Any, hearing no other suggestions for amendments, would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as it's been amended.
So move.
That's-
Trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Brumgard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes.
Yes,
Trustee Winslow,
Yes.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
Yes.
okay. Next item is our election of board officer and appointment and committee appointments for 2023. Would entertain nominations for, I guess, the first position we have as chair.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Forrest Rhodes for board chairman.
We take seconds on nominations.
You have to do each one.
I know we'll have to vote, but do we take a second on the nomination
Yes.
itself? Okay, do we have a second?
Second that nomination.
Okay. Any other nominations for board chair? We'll vote them as we've done in the past.
Shelby.
Okay, we'll vote them in the order they're nominated as we've done in the past.
No.
Never mind,
But
I'll take that
I did
back.
have a clarifying thing. I believe it says in our bylaws that the chair can't serve back-to-back
Yeah,
years.
they can't,
I can't serve more than
Okay.
more than
the
two.
position can't serve more than 2 consecutive.
Okay.
No other nominations. So the vote would be for me to continue in the role as board chair.
Trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Brumgard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes.
Yes,
Trustee Winslow,
No.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
No.
That passes 4-2. Okay, well, I take, excuse me, nominations for vice chair.
I move that we nominate Linda Jolly for vice chair.
Second,
Any other nominations for vice chair?
Trustee Good,
yes.
trustee Brungard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes,
Yes.
trustee Winslow,
No.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
No.
That passes 4-2. Nominations for secretary treasurer.
I would move that we nominate Mary Martha Good as secretary treasurer.
You have a second for that.
I'll second.
Any other nominations?
Trustee Good,
Yes,
trustee Brungard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes,
trustee Rhodes,
Yes.
trustee Winslow,
No.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 5-1. Okay, we have our officers, the appointments for board committees. The first one up is the KACCT delegate. My understanding is Linda would like to,
yeah, I
serve in
would
that position.
volunteer to serve in that position if no one else is wanting to.
and Mary Martha, I think you exhibit some interest in.
I enjoy going to those meetings, so if you can't ever make it, Linda, just let me know.
And I think you can go, I don't think we're
Yes.
limited to just one, so, okay. Any concerns with that? We'll nominate or we'll appoint Linda to that role. The Board Finance Committee, the vice chair is a member of that committee automatically, so Linda would have that role. Would anyone else like to serve as the other person on that role?
I will do it.
Okay, thank you, Mary Martha.
Mhm.
I'm happy to continue as the foundation board liaison.
Shelby, would you like to be nominated for that? You can express an interest in that.
Not really.
If your interest wanes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'd volunteer for it. But I donate to the foundation, so.
Well. Yeah, we all do.
We all do.
As do I.
Yeah.
I don't.
If you would
I mean,
like,
if you don't, you
I'm-
know, I'm not,
I'm happy to continue doing it. If you'd like to step in, and I'm more than happy to defer.
no,
Now, are you interested in staying on educational facilities?
I am interested in staying there.
Would anyone else like to join Dave on the facilities?
I would if nobody else
Okay.
wants to.
And Martha, you're gonna be busy.
I know.
Capital projects, Shelby, you and Julie have been on that. I know there wasn't a lot of it going on
We've
last
never
year.
had a single meeting.
Are you interested in continuing in that role?
We never did a single thing for it, so.
So.
Well, I don't think the team met. I don't think it was that you all didn't do anything. It's just last year was a year that the team didn't
The-
meet.
That was
Yeah,
something
the
that-
projects really that were in place are the deferred maintenance things that were, approved by the construction manager at risk a year ago and, bid out by Simpsons and so it's mainly deferred maintenance and HVAC stuff that's going on now. There aren't any other
You would think. it would
campus
be-
projects.
you would think it would be any-
Traditionally, the capital projects team is only for. maintenance
Just major
around town.
projects. Mhm.
Brick and mortar type.
Yeah, that's what it's been for.
Except for the foundation.
Well, but that's a completely separate entity. Those
Right,
went through the
exactly.
foundation.
So
The snarky remarks are not helpful, Julie.
I didn't think it was snarky. I tried. Except for
It
the
was,
foundation.
It was.
That's your.
I'll stay on it. I don't.
I'm just
There-
telling
no.
you.
If you all are happy to stay on it, then that fills the committees out and
Sure. I mean,
there may or may not be a lot to do on it.
I won't be sitting by the phone.
And if you
Sure.
need a second person, I'll.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna take it with Shelby.
Okay, thank you guys for doing that. Okay, we have our appointments. We'll turn the floor over to Dr. Kroll for recognitions.
Yeah, thank you. I have this month, two students to recognize that aren't here in attendance, but Joshua Ritter and Morgan Fisher. I'm sorry, there you are. I didn't realize that. So, are you gonna see your counterpart at all anywhere? You don't think so? Well, I'm glad you're here because you can tell us a little bit. They've qualified for the 2023. I usually sit at my desk. These guys have qualified for the 2023 Microsoft Office National Championship competition that's in Orlando in June. And so tell us a little bit about, I know you have to take certification exam and some things like that. You want to tell us how you qualified? Will you do that? I'll give you the microphone.
Sure. So I took this course, the MOS test preparation for certifying all my Microsoft applications. I took Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and I scored the highest exam in PowerPoint in Kansas.
Great. Wow.
Yes. So I was nominated champion of PowerPoint, and now they want me to compete and represent Kansas in Orlando.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's great.
Basically,
Wow.
I'll have 40 minutes to complete about 7 tasks. And yeah,
We give you some things to work on while you're waiting.
I'll be definitely practicing on my public speaking
Oh,
PowerPoints.
thanks. We put you on the spot. Congratulations, John. Thank you. You did good too.
So do you then present the PowerPoint that you put together? Or is it just, are you just presenting the presentation, or are you actually standing up and working off the slides and speaking with somebody?
Think you preset PowerPoints and then you have to fix things in it. And they basically tell you what to fix.
Okay. So the mechanics of PowerPoint inside and out. That's great.
Very cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay,
It's in Orlando too, so that'll be fun.
you need a sponsor.
Go with you.
Hey, wait a minute. I was the former business teacher.
My other recognition, congratulations, Joshua. Thanks for being here. Other recognition, Dave Shear had a birthday on the 4th of January. So happy
Yes,
birthday.
Happy birthday. to you.
Yeah. And we need,
Yeah,
yeah.
On a
And
ukulele.
we recognized Mary Martha's birthday last in December at our meeting, but she was gone. So anyway, happy birthday to you belated. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
your sister doing all right still?
I go out tomorrow. Her wound has closed up 6 centimeters, which is what we're looking for. As long as we can keep her without infection, she'll be doing good, but thank you.
Next item up is public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for comment? Or anyone present that wants to
We
comment?
know.
Okay. Move on then to the standing reports, starting with student government.
You are back early.
I am back. I have RA training in a couple days.
Oh.
So SGA ended last semester with starting to pre-plan our spring semester. And we will have SGA retreats sometime next week in the first week of classes to finalize those plans for spring semester. And we expect another busy semester with lots of activities for the students.
Thank you.
We thought we'd not have opera staff.
Yeah, and ops
Today.
staff doesn't have a report there. They haven't met yet.
Lisa, professional employees, Dr. Sater.
Well, we are back in classes starting next Tuesday. And we are spending this week doing our various preparations that we haven't already done. Oh, now you do. I always forget that. And participating in our professional development days week. This is the week when we all come together to learn from one another. We get updates from administration about what's going on with the college, etc. And I thought I might mention a couple of things that are going on during professional development days. We had a keynote speaker, David Katz, who gave us a very interesting presentation on the relationship between student success, student perceptions, and some of the neurology behind that. And a lot of us felt that that was a very good insight into our students and how we can provide even greater learning for them. And he stuck around after his presentation, in fact, to do further breakout sessions on his work. We had quite a few and are having quite a few other breakout sessions, for example, on various technologies, creating GIFs for your classes. GIFs, what? Okay, somebody knows what those are. Obviously, I didn't go to that one. Understanding and countering unconscious bias in the classroom. I did a presentation about the association. Someone always does something for yoga, and believe me, instructors need that. Some other interesting breakout sessions on in classroom dynamics, as well as various innovations in pedagogy. What's really nice about these breakout sessions and what makes them so enjoyable and popular is that these are faculty talking to faculty. We enjoy when administration updates us on what's going on at the college, but we really enjoy opportunities to work with one another to improve what we do here at the college. And I would be remiss if I didn't give credit to the faculty development team that puts this together for us every semester. They do a great job. They did it again this time. And we would be lost without them, I think. At any rate, we have more meetings to attend this week. And we will end things basically Thursday evening with meetings with our adjuncts. And so that's professional development days. And again,
I have a question about
yes.
PD days. How many, what percentage of faculty attend those?
I don't know. The room always looks pretty full to me.
So is it required by all faculty to attend
Full time?
full
Faculty,
time? It is. Do you ever take roll call? I mean, just
I'm sure someone does.
someone does,
Development team does, I think. Yeah.
but
Yeah, I have to sign in at virtually every room I enter
good.
on that day. I don't know.
Do you guys get professional development points?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes. Which apply to hopefully at some point an increase in compensation. Okay, now before I leave the lectern, I want to do something that I always look forward to, and that is I want to announce to the board this year's master teacher recipient. This year's master teacher is lead instructor of management and marketing, Professor Jared McGinley. And let me read a few words about him from his colleagues. For more than 20 years, Jared goes beyond teaching in the classroom and prepares his students for the real world. He is the faculty sponsor for the student DECA group, who has constantly performed well in real world competitions in marketing and other business related areas. And I know the board has honored those students as well as Professor McGinley for their great work every year. Not only does he bring real world projects into his classroom to prepare students for being business leaders, but at the same time, his students are learning and giving back to the community. Each semester, his marketing classes take on a nonprofit to help and develop a marketing plan. One semester, it was for the ARC, A-R-C, an association that helps individuals with physical and intellectual disabilities. And they go on to say, the list goes on, but they felt that this was enough. If you see Jared around, I hope you will offer him your congratulations. He is one of our superstars among many here at Butler Community College.
I'd like to meet him, so if he ever comes, maybe he could be
And we'll hear
at the
from,
next meeting.
we'll hear from him at graduation.
Yeah.
too, won't we?
Yeah, but we'll invite him to the February meeting
Okay.
and see if he can come.
Good. good.
I was hoping he'd show up tonight, but week before classes and everything, it's only my great affection for each of you that brings me out.
Aw,
We appreciate that.
Thank you, Terry.
Um,
Get me.
Board Finance Committee, anything to report?
Let's see, there were no questions about the statement of revenue. Everyone should have it in front of them. We did talk about the audit being completed and presented next month. Kent's looking it over along with Carrie. Let's see. We also discussed the mileage report. Kent has it ready. If any of you would like a mileage report, see Kent and he will get you the paperwork. He has it here tonight.
Yeah, actually, I emailed it out, but if you have questions or comments, I'd be happy to meet with you.
Any questions?
Only question, did you happen to write the dates down beside all those? We came that night, we came this night,
Yes,
were the dates included? Okay. 'Cause I
You have
didn't read
41
those down,
dates.
yeah, all
sorry.
the details. are
Trustee
there.
Winslow. You have 41 dates.
That's how many meetings and work sessions we've had since
Right.
Well,
I
in the
know.
last two.
2 years.
Yeah, I think it's 2 years. worth.
You have 40.
But I didn't understand why you needed an W-9,
We only need a couple of pieces of information on there.
like,
We don't, well, I'd be happy to get with you on
sorry, I
it.
didn't make that, so if there's only a couple. but they-
Yeah, I don't want to really take time at the meeting, but I'd be happy to get with you.
Mary
Any
Martha,
other-
thank you.
Yes.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Foundation Board report, the Foundation Board has not met. We meet in February. Is that right, Tom? Is that the next meeting? So I'll have more. Actually, at the March board meeting, I'll have more to update then. Dr. Kroll, your report?
Donuts with legislators, January 18th from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the ground floor of the Capitol. Just a very casual come and go opportunity to visit with them as they come through security and before they go up to their offices and meetings. I will be there. There's KBOR meetings that continue on that morning, subcommittee meetings that continue on that morning and the afternoon. And so if any of you are interested in going, let me know. Heather Morgan likes to know, which trustees will be there. She's hopeful that, the presidents will all be there and that at least one or two trustees are able to go if they can. It's a pretty early morning. You're welcome to ride with me, but it's a long day because I won't leave Topeka until probably 5 that afternoon when KBOR's over. But you can go to the KBOR meeting, in the afternoon if you'd like to, but I'll probably leave here at 5 that morning. So
I'd like to encourage any and all of you to go. It's good.
It was fun last year. I mean, well, I don't know if it was fun, but it was informative.
Where we're situated, you catch every legislator coming in
coming through.
because that's the entrance
Yeah,
that
it's
they
fun.
come in on. So
I
it's good, you
won't be
guys.
able to this year.
okay. Julie, I know you inquired about it. Are you able to go?
Oh, if I do, I'll drive.
I cannot do it. Yeah, I can't do it.
Okay,
I'm babysitting for 3 little jollies, sorry.
okay. Okay, 5 days. You might want to take a break and come along.
I mean, the grandpa would. babysit for 3 little
Okay,
jollies.
well, I'll report back. It's we get to see a lot of people coming and going. There's no formal meeting or presentation or anything like that.
I
but It's a
see,
nice casual.
I see Senator Fag practically every Sunday at breakfast, so.
Yeah. I kind of just happened to find out that there hasn't been any work done yet on the ball fields at East Park and McDonald Stadium. I'm trying to get a hold of David to get an update. I think they kind of put that project, it sounds like they put that project on hold just because of some increase in construction costs and some things like that. They're kind of waiting, but it sounds like the RFPs are going to be released very shortly. And so it wouldn't be work that would start most likely until now, summer after ball seasons are over, but I'll try and get some more information. I just wanted to, because we haven't talked about it for a while, I wanted to let you know about that.
Well, and in our utility bills, we've got something
Yes, that's
on
right.
it, on the taxes being
Yeah.
used for.
Right.
Sales tax.
Sales tax is
Mhm.
going to be used for that from the city. We've been invited to be involved in some of the community meetings as USD 259 searches for their next superintendent. So some of us will be involved in, doing some of those engagements. A group of us here are continuing to work on all of the documentation that needs to be compiled in preparation for our HLC visit in April on the 17th and 18th. Brian Inbody, who's the president of Neosho and a longtime peer reviewer and active on different councils at the Higher Learning Commission level, has agreed to come on March 6th, which is a Monday, and help us with a mock visit in preparation for that. I don't have any schedule, don't know any timeline yet. I need to talk to Brian. He'll kind of line out, in his experience, what groups he wants to visit with, but I'll let you know if part of that time on Monday, he wants to sit down and visit with you. And my guess would be that he would try for you guys, probably try to schedule it for later in the afternoon so that it might fit your schedules a little bit better. And then as we are working through again, some of the Higher Learning Commission assurance documents, we've made some updates to a couple of the board policies. We're going to talk about the mission and vision statement tonight, and hopefully those updates will be approved. So there'll be some things, some of those pieces that are in your current handbook, your trustees handbook, that we'll go ahead and update. We'll do a revised copy and then we'll get hard copies to you probably at the next board meeting. But I just wanted to let you know that you should still have your notebooks and stuff, but we'll be updating a few of those things in the trustees handbook, and we'll give you a revised copy next month. So, and then somebody help me. We always, besides the master teacher that the association announces always at PDD, faculty development team identifies and chooses a full-time faculty member and an adjunct faculty member for the John and Sue Ann Roosh Awards of Excellence that are offered by the League of Innovation. And this year, Teresa Thompson, who's a longtime instructor in early childhood education, was our full-time recipient. And I did not know the adjunct instructor, and I can't remember that adjunct instructor's name. Do you remember, Terry? Or okay, Donnie can tell us. And it's that was a Spanish instructor, right? Japanese instructor, foreign language. Sorry that I can't remember that, but I want, and we'll invite Jared and both of those instructors to join us next month, for recognitions actually in the board meeting. But it's always fun because those are faculty nominations, I mean, the Faculty Association chooses the master teacher through a really great nomination process and review process, in the same way with the John and Sue Ann Roosh Awards of Excellence from the League for Innovation. I think they take nominations from fellow faculty and from students, if I remember correctly. Am I right? Is that right?
It's just.
It's just from students. Okay. Right. So. Okay. Thank you very much. So we'll bring them next month or invite them to come next month. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Educational facilities. Dave, have you all met? Sorry. Mary Martha.
No,
December
Most-
14th.
yeah, but I wasn't able to go.
Oh, you weren't,
No,
and I wasn't.
and you were in town,
We
So,
did.
and there were a
too.
lot of people absent at
Right.
that particular one too.
I'm sorry. Masaka Maeda was the adjunct instructor that was chosen for the awards. Thank you for that. There were a few bills to approve, some discussion. They're going to move those meetings to quarterly meetings rather than try and meet more monthly. There wasn't anything really. There's some operational and bylaw things that need to be updated, that will get worked on, but
Did they find sponsors for the sign?
we're still working on some of those. Pepsi is a big sponsor on the Jumbotron. Holly Frontier, sorry, HF Sinclair is going to be a sponsor. And so we're working on some of the other ones still.
I gave a contact to Ryan.
Okay,
Cox.
good.
Okay, thanks, everybody. We have no monitoring report this month, so we'll move into our strategic discussion items. The first one is the server and storage life cycle refresh. And
Christina's going to talk about
yes,
that.
Hello, I'm Christina Byram. I'm the Deputy CIO. I report to Bill Young, the Vice President of Digital Transformation and CIO. In 2017, through the capital mill levy, the board approved the purchase of our current server and storage environment for $1.3 million. The equipment will reach its life cycle in May of 2023. And the manufacturer will no longer support the hardware or software. With this being said, the Information Services Division took proactive action and spent the last 8 months reviewing our options for replacing our equipment. With the rapid progression of technology, potential solutions include on-premise, cloud, private cloud, and private cloud. The most beneficial part of a cloud environment is the scalability. And that's really what I want to talk to you about, is that scalability. With an on-premise environment, which is what we have today. So our equipment is housed in our data center with a lot of other equipment, but our server and storage is some of that equipment. You have to calculate your current usage, and you have to calculate what your future usage is going to be for that life cycle of the equipment. And then that's what you pay for upfront. And you have a large capital expenditure. With cloud, you have a scalability. You only purchase what you're going to use. And then if you need to scale up, then you pay for those additional scaling up. So we're going to save more money upfront with a cloud option versus an on-premise option. Currently, we pay about $60,000 in yearly renewal on some of our server and storage equipment. Those yearly costs will be rolled into a cloud solution. In addition, with a cloud solution, it's estimated that we'll save about $15,000 to $20,000 in cooling costs. It'll reduce the amount of cooling needed for our current data center space. There'll still be equipment there. We'll still require to have our firewalls and layer 2 and layer 3 switches and other equipment that make the institution function and run and be able to communicate with each other. But it will reduce our cooling costs. Another benefit to a cloud solution is it better postures our disaster recovery and business continuity. Today, as we all know, the Andover tornado came through in the spring of 2022, hit Andover and came towards El Dorado. And we're very fortunate that it only devastated Andover and it didn't devastate El Dorado as well. Both of our main campuses sit right off the turnpike, which is a huge concern. And so we have our main campus here and we have our backup data center in Andover. And if both of them were to be taken out, we would have no disaster recovery or business continuity right there. We would be down. It would be a hard recovery. With a cloud option, in case of failures, disasters, you fail over to another city and another state. And that's what it's designed for. There's a lot of places that have moved to the cloud for that reason. Being able to have good redundancy costs a lot of money. And so cloud is one of those ways that you can find benefit and get your disaster recovery and business continuity. And so we've got great disaster recovery and business continuity, but I feel like we need to go to the next level. That Andover tornado was a little close for comfort. One last point I'd like to make is Amy Kirshner is our contract and procurement employee, and she prides herself on bringing the lowest price possible to Butler. She works hard to make sure that Butler only pays the lowest price possible. And so the numbers that you see tonight are top end numbers. Those are top end budgetary numbers. We're confident that when we return with a topic of action, that the numbers will be lower. The bottom line is that we know that this change has to happen. And we're working really hard to make sure we're making a cost-effective and efficient decision so we can bring long-term viability to the institution. And I'll leave it open for questions.
What's the difference between public cloud and private?
Oh, I knew you would ask that, right?
Forrest, what was
So,
your question? I'm sorry.
What's the difference between public cloud and private cloud?
so a public cloud, I could go out and get space in a public cloud. And then there's private cloud, which you have to renovate or you have to lease space out of their environment to use. Like private cloud's not available to the general public. One of the solutions that we're looking at is a public cloud, but we have a private section in their public cloud. It's designated just for us as one of those options. We're going to bring a couple options for you to review. You'll see them. We're obviously going to tell you, this is our chosen option, but we'll let you see all those options that we reviewed. But that's a great question. Yes, Julie.
Did you have one?
I was just wondering, when you come back and you want the money approved and all that, I assume you're going to be back for that
Yes, ma'am.
day. Okay. Would it be too much to just, everything you're getting rid of on one side, everything you're going to on the other, and the cost? So that we can see the plan, this is going away, this is coming in, and
Okay.
Are you looking for it on like a per equipment, like this many,
That's what
this
I'm-
many servers of this style?
not as much as I'm looking for the overall cost to transfer. You're wanting to go to the next level, and I can understand that. I'm just wanting you to nail down the benefits of doing that. And I think you can. I think you can show us why those are going to be beneficial. Maybe it will cost a little bit, but I think if you can iron out some of those replacements and some of the reasons and just, put them all down in bullet form, you don't have to list every one. But I think you know what I'm talking about, just kind of like a plan per se.
Part of the reason right now, I don't know if you missed it in Christina's discussion, but this is at end of life and it won't be, that equipment will no longer be supported. So
And
we
I-
have to make a change. We have to make a change.
And
So-
I understand that, but
And-
I like to see those. I like to see the 5-year plans when technology changes, and I understand technology moves a lot faster than we do. I get that. Okay, but there's still that plan. And you did know that 5 years ago, these would only be a 5-year thing. So, yeah, so that would be good. Just
As part of your normal process, would you be pricing out what it would take to replace what we have and everything else?
Yes.
I think it might be helpful to, I think, is that kind of what you're looking for is a comparison?
Yep. All that information will be provided to you. Yes. Our goal is that our new option will be cheaper than what we paid for in 2017.
And I really do get that. Things are just so much different than they were even 5 years ago, so.
I think you also mentioned this morning in our meeting that, cloud options were available 5 or 6 years ago, but they were extremely expensive,
Yes.
out of range. And so it made sense to have the physical equipment and the servers on campus because that was the most cost-effective option at that point in time. But the cost for cloud storage and all of that sort of stuff now has gone down significantly. correct?
It has, it's become, it was never an option for us in the past. It's now an option.
So your physical equipment, would be nice to know the list of the physical equipment that's going away and where it's going. It's gonna be surplus, it's gonna be put in another facility if you have a use for it somewhere else.
We'll provide that information as well, too.
Maybe some marketplace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark's not gonna be
I'm
supporting
kidding, I'm
any
kidding,
other, so I
everyone,
don't
I'm
know that
kidding.
It's gonna be usable.
Shelby, do you have questions?
Did you say it's 12.3 million in 2017? Was that or did you say
1.3.
1.3
Okay, I
million.
was gonna say, that didn't sound right.
Yeah, it's
I've got old man ears and it's hard sometimes.
It was actually 1,292,000.
And could you refresh my memory? I think Bill Young did the Hardin data center upgrade speech to
It's-
us like 2 years ago where we
it's
had to
been- yeah, it
move all
was-
this into here and it was 800,000-ish or $1 million to get that room ready. And
Bill's
has that
online,
even
maybe
been
he can,
done like a year and a half, 2 years now?
there's a lot of equipment in there, so that room is not going to be empty. I mean, it's a significant, there's
Right, but we
still a
wouldn't necessarily
significant amount.
need that style of room for the equipment that remains.
Well,
So
I mean, Bill can answer that. I think they did need that style so that it was protected and secure.
can you guys hear me?
sir.
Yes,
Sorry about that. So, yeah, so that room today currently houses all of our servers and storage. It also houses all of our infrastructure equipment. So our connectivity, our networks, our routers, our switches, all of our fiber ends there. So that's, I mean, that would still be something that's protected within a hardened data center. That infrastructure piece is not something that we can move to the cloud. So it's a dual purpose data center at this point. There'll still be some on-prem, smaller on-prem server stuff that are going to be some of our like surveillance cameras, but all of the infrastructure equipment will still be in that room. This is moving our storage and virtual server environment and some of our actual servers out to the cloud is what this proposal would be. But I understand your question, Shelby. Yeah, that the room was built, as with that fire, I don't want to say proof, right? But the tornado resistance and fire resistance and all that to be a hardened data center that houses both or houses all servers, storage, and infrastructure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
anyone else have questions for Christina or Bill? Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Next item for discussion is the Butler Student Pledge. Dr.
Yeah.
Kroll?
I'd like to invite Lillian Rippey, who's you know her, she's our student government president and doing a great job. And then Sherry Connard is the student government advisor and director of first year experience. Lillian's done with her team and with our students done a great job of developing something that I think is really exciting for Butler. And so I'm going to let Lillian go through this and explain how they've gotten to where they are, and excited for your support for this. This is a really cool thing, I think, for Butler students. So. The one that's in board book? That's the one you sent me. So
Okay.
I hope it's the most current one.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, we started in about September. My SGA team and I, we started talking about this pact that we had seen other schools do. And we were talking about how we wanted to bring it to Butler. And so we started just with our team, just looking through it, trying to figure out words that we thought represented Butler as a whole. And from there, we went and talked to different organizations. We talked to BSA, Esports, Crew, Halo, Philosophy Club, and the students at the last student forum with Dr. Kroll. Throughout the clubs, we talked to about 50 students, and the student forum, I want to say 20 to 30
Yeah,
students.
I think
And so we brought the pack or the pledge that my SGA team and I came up with and brought it to them and asked how they thought about it. And from there, they offered suggestions through survey, in person, everything. We posted it on Instagram, we had flyers, we talked about it at the forum, and they all really liked it. Some of them had very constructive criticism that we brought into it and changed it, how all the students that we reached thought it represented Butler. And so this is what we have as our final, and we have the Butler Pledge. I am a Grizzly. I belong to a proud and strong family that strives for determination and integrity. I instill respect and empowerment in myself and others. I prioritize love, togetherness, and an inclusive atmosphere within my diverse community. I am a Grizzly. I am the future. So that's what That's what the entire student body agreed with. They thought it represented Butler to the T.
I like it. Very, very nice.
And the goal, it's in your board book, but the goal is to produce this in some really special way. Not just in a poster, but in some, larger special way that we would be able to, we talked to the students about it and they thought it would be really cool to have it posted in the 5,000 building when you walk in the front foyer area, because that's kind of the traffic pattern for students and for prospective students and parents to come in and out of the 5,000 building. And have one posted in the 600 building here where admissions and advising are, because again, that's where new students and parents come in and students tour, but we have a lot of student traffic in and out of there, obviously our own students, and then post in the student union on this campus as well. So we're excited about
And then what about
producing
Andover?
them. And in Andover would be in the 5,000 building.
oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's
it's 5,000 building. Right in the foyer. So
Make it big and
This is great.
huge.
make it big. That's kind of the plan. Yeah.
Good.
I'm impressed with the way you described the process. I mean, that's getting
Yes.
input from so many different areas and groups. That's great. And
Yes.
being willing to tweak what you proposed initially based on the input you got. That's great.
We emailed it to the entire student body. So it's every.
They use their social media really well to.
Thank you
Any
so
other
much.
questions? Yep,
No,
thank
it's
you.
great.
Good job.
Next up is our, as we talked about last year, kind of circling around each quarter to go over core requests. And there is, if you look at page 8 of the board book, there's a summary of those. I know Shelby mailed with just asking for some additional information on some of these that Dr. Kroll has provided. Does anyone have any comments or questions about this?
No, my only request for that, we generally get yearly requests when we get copies of that, so I didn't know what these other ones were. And just in general, that top one, I mean, that's something I've been kind of asking to see for 3 years now. I wouldn't mind seeing that data at some point this year before we approve next year's budget. I think it would be helpful to at least know where we set on all these programs.
Well,
I mean, I think we need to be a little more, part of the problem with this one, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Kroll, was when Dodge City wanted this, they had a particular format that they wanted it in.
Right,
And
right.
they wanted us to essentially create something
Right.
that fit exactly into their format as opposed to just
Right.
asking for the information.
Yeah, I'm not asking for anything to be created, it just, I
That
think
didn't
it'd be something good to talk about at the work session or
I don't
sometime
wanna
in the
s-
next
I
few
don't-
months.
take us down a rabbit hole, but maybe an update at the next meeting or work session about the status of the BKD software and the additional module for that. I don't want to catch anybody off guard. but
yeah,
that wasn't-
we can do that. I mean, it's, yeah.
And even if it's a month from now, I don't care, just. I've been asking to put everything on the table. This is the beginning of the 4th year now, it's like, it'd be nice to see.
Okay.
And I had one more big thing, not to be that guy, but in July, the 8th was the last time I requested projector information. To know exactly what happened with it. On an actual piece of paper and know what the records were, and I still haven't received nothing, so I'm gonna,
Right. Email it to you.
no, you said Bill and I got a thing from Ribbit,
Bill provided it.
but it didn't say anywhere what happened to the projectors, and you said you would forward it to Bill and. I got it right here. On
But I
the 8th,
sent, didn't I send you the list that Ribbit sent and the letter that Ribbit sent and all of
right,
that
but
sort
there
of
was
stuff?
nothing that said what was a projector or happened to it, and I requested that, I just need to know at this point. So I'm gonna send in a Cora for that, so I can have whatever records exist for that, just so I can close the book on my
Uh,
curiosity.
Well, maybe you
There's
guys
a
should talk.
long
I was
list of
thinking,
Cora with just numbers, but it doesn't say, I mean, from Ribbit. But it doesn't say what it's for precisely, and I precisely asked for projectors.
you wanted specifically what numbers related to what projectors? Is that what you're
So what
asking?
happened to all the projectors that were
They
replaced?
go to e-waste.
I understand, I'm requesting documentation.
Let me ask Bill, he's not on.
That's all right.
We'll have to
I'm-
ask
I'm-
him if Ribbit can go back and reproduce that. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm hitting send on my email now.
Okay.
so. Just so it's official, I've asked politely a bazillion times, so we'll see what there's nothing exists, say, we don't have anything, it's
Well,
in the dumpster.
I
We
guess,
lit it on fire and I'll be like, cool.
I guess
Long as
we
it's nothing
thought,
to do.
I guess we thought we had filled that core request and given you
never
the
made it.
information that you wanted. Well, it wasn't a core request, but I thought that we had given you the information that you wanted since we didn't have any response back until now. So,
Well,
Well, yeah, I think you did respond.
No.
You responded on the 8th. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. I'm just trying to point out, but you said, hey, I'll send it to Bill and we'll get you something because I asked for. Now that everybody's curious, I'll just read it. So could you let me know if those projectors that were replaced were on the invoice we received from Ribbit? I know that there were item numbers that didn't specifically state computers. At this point, I would really like to know how many were replaced, where, what happened to the old ones, precisely with as much detail as possible. The ambiguity is just making me wonder. If I could find out in the next few weeks or so, that'd be great. And you
Well-
responded, you had passed it on to Bill, and that was July.
I apologize because I think we have that documentation that I thought we sent on, that I sent on
I
to you,
never-
but maybe not.
I searched my email. and couldn't
I'll go
find it.
back and look. I may very well have that information, so. If I do, it's not Bill's fault, it's my fault.
I'll just make it official so I can quit talking about it.
Okay, we'll move on to the additional strategic discussion items that we added.
I have one more question on the forum.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that the culinary building, I felt really like we were pushed into making sure that everything got approved and we bought the building by the end of the year. And now I find out it's not even gonna close. They don't even have a closing date or the details. And here's what really makes me crazy. What makes me crazy is when people tell me, where's that new culinary building in Andover? And I tell them where it's at. And they say, well, it doesn't have BCC on it because they only can see Butler from the back. They can't see it from the front. So it's making me crazy that we have this building and now we've agreed to buy it and we can't even tell anybody that it's ours.
We've had a bid out for a Butler sign on that building and that we're waiting on it. Ireland's frustrated because we have not gotten the bid back and we don't have a sign, but we've been trying to work on it
Let's
for.
go to another.
Well, I think that that's probably what will happen, but when Tom presented this information, he told the trustees at the time that your discussion was approval to move forward with the purchase of that building, which meant then that the next steps were to develop a contract, make sure that we had firm numbers with pledges that were still outstanding, whether we were getting the spark funding, all of those kinds of things. He will bring back to you guys in the spring, probably within the next month or so, hopefully, that contract. It's being developed right now, but that was the discussion when we talked about that the contract would come to you and that would actually be presented to you when we had firm numbers.
That's great, but it's been open several months and
Well,
I
that's
would be
part of the
happy
process.
right now with a big vinyl sign that had Butler Community College on it, on the front of that building. One of the ties up to the brick somehow, I don't care. Sticky tape, tack, or whatever you want to call it, just something that indicates that it's part of our college. I think it is detrimental to not have it on there when we're advertising such a great culinary program, how we want everybody to come and then they drive out, they drive past, they don't happen to go into Dillon's way, they go right out 400. And honestly, you can't even tell it belongs to Butler. No, really, I don't think it's too much to ask for a big vinyl sign. I mean, it doesn't cost that much, does it? Maybe $150, $250 to put something across the front that said, hey,
Anything else on the Cora item?
does anybody else think that might be a good idea? Or are we just gonna move on without any thought? I mean, do you think
We
it's a good
definitely
idea?
need to sign it. but
We're
it's not
working on it.
action item.
I'm just telling you, we're working on it.
But the digital sign. Only a third of the time driving by it will you see Butler. If not, it says BCC, EDU, whatever, and it says enrolling. So, I mean, you could just put Butler. Up all the time that people would know, and that would solve the problem.
For now, yeah.
So I've had people call and say, hey, we pulled over. And then we saw the sign say Butler, once it cycled, and we're like, okay.
We'll move on then to Shelby. This was one of the items that you added. Just a reminder for everyone, if we can add discussion items, we control the meeting collectively. So if we want to add discussion items, we certainly can. If we want Dr. Kroll and her staff to have comment or have information for us, then it's important that we make these available as far in advance as we can. So let's talk about what you want to talk about, but I certainly wouldn't expect a lot of extra input coming in.
I expect nothing out of this. I ran across Justin Eklund last year, I think in July. And we had already approved, I think with Kelly Snedden, we were talking about the 400,000 in advertising and 490,000, I think. And we met at I met him at a Christian Youth Theater play. He's like, hey, I do it. I asked him what he did. He did advertising. I asked him what kind. And he expressed interest. And at the time, I'm like, well, we've got a nailed down plan. So Butler wouldn't be interested, but when interested. And then when Julie asked Kelly last month, what's the plan so far? And she said, well, we're still ironing it out. I followed up with Justin and said, hey, would you have any interest in either talking to the board or talking with Dr. Kroll and administration, at least having a presentation if he has something different to offer, because he doesn't do traditional. I mean, I feel like the community colleges were all kind of doing the same thing to get the same students. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to have an outsider either make a presentation or give you his ideas if he has an idea to get other students than what we're currently going for.
Do you know if they do media buys or any major things like that, which is a significant part of what?
He's
what we do?
Wichita based and he does a lot of that kind of stuff.
So
They
he
do
buys
follow up.
news and TV spots and signage, billboard signage and all that sort of stuff. He helps with those kinds of
I'm
things.
not sure precisely what it does, but if
Okay.
you'd like me to forward his number to you, I can put him in contact with you and you
I
guys.
wouldn't mind him coming to.
I
me and
will.
talk to
Yeah.
us.
Why don't you give me his number and I can have Kelly get in touch with him and visit with him and, kind of find out if that's okay with you, Kelly, and find out what opportunities they provide. And
I mean, it couldn't hurt to have
The- the thing about, the media buys and the marketing and, if we're, if you're looking at doing some of those kinds of things, those are take pretty comprehensive discussions and pretty comprehensive plans. You don't want to just bring somebody in kind of on top of what you're already doing necessarily, because we have contracts in place and things like that. But send me his number and I'll have Kelly get a hold of him. Kelly knows some of the people in that firm anyway. So
I mean, precisely, I'm asking for somebody to come do something different than what we have been doing. We haven't seen
Needs
an
to be-
increase in students. So couldn't hurt to at least have a presentation from somebody. And if he did it.
send me
you
this
guys behind
information.
closed doors and see if there's something there. And if not, it was just an idea.
What's his
Okay.
company's name?
Cloud
Linda?
or
Linda,
Grove
okay.
9,
Growth 9.
Grove 9.
My personal opinion is, why do we allow one to come when there's hundreds of marketing firms out there that would love to have the opportunity to make a presentation to the college? If we're thinking we want something different, then maybe we ought to go out and identify
Do an
that
RFP or
and
something.
give additional companies the opportunity. I mean, why just them? I've worked with lots of companies. I could bring you a company.
Or I think Shelby was I think Shelby was just trying to get some new ideas, because what we've been doing is just not working. And I'm with you. I think more than one vendor could be invited, maybe 3 could be invited to give a plan. Maybe they could make a plan.
Why would it come here to begin with? Why wouldn't it be with our marketing team to come to do some preliminary work with companies and bring us what they think are the newest and best ideas or opportunities? I mean, I just don't think we should give any kind of preference to a vendor, because there's lots of vendors that contact us that would like to come to the college. And as I said, I think should be a process where they don't just get to come in and everybody says, oh, that's a cool idea, let's hire them. That's not.
I guess the other thing is, I think, I want to make sure that everybody understands that we have a phenomenal team of people in college relations and marketing that have lots and lots of years of experience in a variety of different ways. And not just at Butler. The fact that we have seen enrollment decreases does not mean that what we're doing from a marketing perspective is not working. We have really good people that are focused on that. It's a broad-based issue, and it's not just going to be solved by marketing. And so the idea of bringing in, if it's multiple vendors or whatever that can, redesign a logo or redesign marketing messages is not necessarily going to be the magic bullet just on its own. And so I think that that's really important and so I appreciated your comment, Linda, as well, about the fact that this really needs to start, or at least that conversation needs to revolve around the people that are actually the experts in marketing that we have at the college, between Kelly and her team, and, even pulling in some other people, Matt, and some of the folks on the mass comm side now. They certainly would need to be involved in those conversations. But if you'll send me, we'll pass it on to Kelly, and she can make some initial conversations and calls, and if that's what the board desires collectively.
Or as the last time. We might actually put it out for, requests for proposals on redoing our marketing plans and let somebody else make the plan up, because what we have been doing isn't working regardless of our experience. It's not working as well as we'd like it to. And that's not meant to hurt anyone's feelings. And no, I don't need any rebuttal.
Well, I think Kelly needs to be able to defend her marketing team.
I'm talking about, okay. I don't think it would hurt if we did that. Maybe we could garner some new ideas, maybe not just the old ones, maybe a new direction.
So I think you're implying that our marketing folks aren't looking for new ideas, and I don't think that that's actually correct.
No, I'm
So
not
Kelly,
implying anything, but it doesn't matter how I say it. It's never going to be good enough. You're never going to understand it.
Relax.
This is not a personal attack. This is merely stating the same thing that I have stated for a year. Whatever we have done is not working, and I think we should be looking outside elsewhere for at least another plan, and then we can choose from those other plans.
I think that's what we need to get to, is what is not working, because we've got 33,000 contacts in our automation system. We've got leads. I've just done research or data analytics on the fall semester, and we are up, and I can pull those numbers up and tell you, from July 1 to the end of December, the web traffic is up. Facebook is up. YouTube is up by, huge numbers. So the awareness and the understanding of Butler's reputation and brand awareness is growing, and we help generate leads for the college, but we're at the top of the funnel. We're at the very top. The students then go through a series of processes, as everybody knows, to get into the institution. So when you're talking about what's not working, that's where I would need more information on that.
Linda, do you have a comment?
I just want to step back and say, it's very obvious that there are opinions that what we're doing isn't working. So noted. And I say that. But I think that the way we go about this stuff sometimes is putting people on the defense, when what we're really wanting to say is, let's look, okay, you're telling us what you're doing, and that's great. Now, what's the 2.0? Is there a 2.0 version? It's always nice when you get some new faces and stuff at the table to give you some ideas. I think that's what we're saying. And, but I don't, I just think we need to be careful about how we describe this, because I think that then it's making the people that work for us diligently every day not feel like they're appreciated. All we're saying is, hey, how about getting us some new ideas?
And I want to add, we're always open and looking for new and innovative ideas. So yeah, absolutely.
To clarify, that's what I'm precisely trying to say. It's like, hey, if we continue to do everything everyone else does, we've got a brand new billboard up with a piggy bank that says Butler, save money, save time, whatever it says, $122 credit card. Butler's known for being less expensive, but if we're known, I mean, for 30 years, we've been known it's affordable, it's close, it's good, get your prereqs out of the way. But what we've been doing, we're not getting it. They're in the funnel, but I was telling Mary Martha the other day, any website you go to now, and if you look at anything, within a couple hours of the next day, hey, that thing you're looking at, it's right here. And you're like, okay.
Right.
Like, hey, a couple days later, we'll give you 5% discount if you buy it now. It's like, so I think the younger kids are, everywhere they go, they get inundated by follow-up emails, and I have no idea. Justin Ekman, I've met him like 4 different times. He's a friend of a friend. If you ever saw Seinfeld, and there's George and then the Winter George. He's my friend's winter me. We never see each other, and they go over there for New Year's Eve every time, and it's like, you're stealing my friend. But I'm just saying, maybe he would have some different ideas to go
Mhm.
catch some stragglers or some people that are in your funnel, like, hey, he has a different, and they had a cool track record of, hits and gathers they had on their website. Like, I don't know anything. I just think it never hurts to listen to another opinion. And maybe it'd be like, hey, we'll mail a flyer for whatever, and he's not beating down my door to try to sell you
Right.
something.
Right.
I ran across him. What do you do?
Well, it's
"Oh,
definitely, it's digital and it's personalization and it's the retargeting. I mean, that's some of the
And we've
things.
got-
Yep.
our market is shrinking. I know we say differentiation all the
Yeah.
time, that's the buzzword, but.
Yeah.
We're all doing the same thing, there's no differentiation, and if every single class is pedagogy, differentiator, diversity, equity, inclusion. What's different at Butler than anywhere else? It's like, I don't know.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, happy
I'm not
to,
trying to stir up a
take-
I
yep.
just thought I'd pass along a name, if that's okay with you, that's why I brought it up. Not trying to do anything.
I don't think there's ever an issue with passing along the names. I think it gets, when we start talking about, we're gonna have someone come in and present something to the board. That's, I think, something that has to come up.
Right.
That has to arise through Dr. Crow and through her staff before,
Right, that's what I mentioned.
before that
just
gets to us.
Present behind closed doors and see what you guys think, and if it's something you like, then present it to the board. I still know how to present it, but I've never presented something like this before. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit.
Good discussion. Work session. Shelby, I don't know what you had in mind for that. that
I would
topic.
just think maybe if we as the board and some of these work sessions, we could take more control about what we would like to talk about. Because when we first started, we didn't have work sessions at all. It was just 1 month of meeting and we were done. And we kind of started the work sessions and.
So we had the work sessions. They were just after the meetings.
Oh,
We
that's
stayed
true.
late.
Yeah, they're
They-
longer.
yeah,
That's
they
true.
were after,
That's
they were
true.
after the
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
We got rid of that pretty quick.
That's all I have to say. If we could, if there's something we're wanting to look at.
Yeah, let us
That's
know.
always available. Yeah. just-
Yeah, let us know. And that way we can, if we know ahead of time, then we can prepare the information and, and,
Like I said earlier about the sports thing, we'd talk about
Especially
it
if
in a
there's-
month or two. And actually see some numbers, that'd be awesome.
I know Kent's got sort of a schedule of what we need to learn about the budget as it goes, but other than that, I mean,
Right.
the work sessions are entirely up to us to.
And I even think
So-
trustee input, working towards our budgets, February, March, April, what we would like to see could help guide the administration too, and not just wait till the end and look at things as they are.
Throw those, toss the ideas out. People have ideas they want
And
to
I
talk
think-
about.
Go ahead.
That's all right.
Well, I was just gonna say, and Julie and I need to get together and go over the evaluation for the board. Was that it, Julie?
That'll be an all-day deal. Unless somebody's willing to take the time to build a spreadsheet that shows what's in this evaluation versus this one versus this
Oh,
one.
it wouldn't take me that long.
Figure out, then you're welcome to do it. You got all of mine and I got all yours, so
Okay.
there's like 15 of them and they need to be compared. And anything that we find.
Some are duplicate. It was for the board, though, the board evaluation, correct?
There was
That's
some of
what
the
I understand.
documents we got were copies of president evaluations, and that's not what's on the table for that discussion.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll let you know what I can get done.
when we speak
In your
of,
busy schedule with your new meetings.
when we talk about work sessions, do we have, just while we're, I know we usually hit that at the end of the meeting, but since it's here, do we have a work session this month?
We do.
well, we just
23rd.
Is it
put them
this-
on the schedule for the fourth
Fourth Monday?
Monday of the month, but if you guys want to cancel them, I mean, we just put them on so they're calendar
What's the
placeholders
schedule
for
for the
everybody.
23rd?
Do we, is there a budget component to that one, Ken?
No, I don't think. They're really good. need to talk about the budget yet. The work that's being done on the budget now needs to be done in the vice president executive council arena for this month, I believe.
Mhm.
Well, I guess keep some thoughts on as to whether we cancel the January meeting or whether
I
there's
don't mind
topics to
skipping it if
discuss.
there's nothing really, I mean, I would be. If
Yeah,
you
I
all don't
mean,
want to come here and waste
use
hours, we
time.
don't either, yeah.
Use your time strategically.
Right, right. But like, I wouldn't mind going over all numbers sooner rather than later. And the final thing, just trustee thoughts, if we could maybe have in more discussion items, just a line item where, like, hey, does anybody have something, some idea this month? That's it. Which I don't know if we will, but
Well, let's go ahead and do the work session this month and go over numbers. I mean,
We're going over numbers later.
Esom's gonna present. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. I'm gonna tell you, he'll just give you a quick overview of fall numbers and stuff in his
Okay.
supplemental discussion. So
do you want to talk about those in 2 weeks or? No, I mean, with Mary, because we haven't seen the numbers, so we don't have any
Yeah.
questions to ask. I mean,
Well,
But we'll, let's hit that when we get to the.
okay.
Linda, did you have a comment?
General discussion, my thoughts. If we did something like that, I would want the time frame that each person got to speak to
Yes.
be limited.
yes,
I don't think we need longer meetings.
Right,
I'm
sure.
happy to hear a thought. Not hours.
Right.
So. I just think we need to be more efficient with each other's time.
There you go.
And my thought to follow on that is. We all know how we amend the agenda. If somebody has an item they want to talk about each month, we can add that item and amend the agenda. I think adding a general topic just turns into a bit of a 7-person free for all of what people want to talk about, and I don't think that would be productive. Just my
that's a good
thoughts.
point.
Okay, I think that covers our strategic discussion items. Moving into action items. 10A on page 9 of the board book is an affirmation of the service and standards of practice. Dr. Kroll.
again, this is something that traditionally community colleges do on an annual basis. It's just a reaffirmation of the standards that are based on ACCT, the Association of Community College Trustees. It's happened over time. And the process to actually sign and put it on the wall was really a recommendation from KACCT a year ago at the quarterly meeting when the presidents and trustees were all together and talked about it. And everybody thought that that was really a good, there were some institutions that were already doing that. And so that was kind of that collective discussion. But, we feel like as a college and as a Kansas association, and then also the National Association, that it's really important and positive for trustees on an annual basis to go back and look at these standards. And I guess just reiterate the good work that trustees do on boards and the focus on students and the focus on trying to move institutions forward based on their strategic plans. So I'm happy to read down through this if you, and then, you can decide if you want to sign it. I mean, I guess it's an action item, so it's a motion
We
to,
have a motion. to approve.
to approve or affirm.
Yeah, let's just move on and put the motion out there. We'll approve it, disapprove it, move on.
Do we have a motion to approve the
I so
affirmation?
move we approve the affirmation of service and standards of practice for the Board of Trustees.
And I'll second.
Okay. I think
You can read it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we've read it. We've seen it, but we've seen it
It's
before.
on the wall over
It's-
there.
Yeah, and we have an updated copy. I would like to have Mary Martha pass that around. And for those of you that are willing to support it and sign it, please do that. And if you choose not to, that's certainly your choice. But I think it's just a great, a great opportunity each year for you to think about your role as a trustee and hopefully support those standards that the National and the State Association set.
I had a comment.
Yes, sir.
Before we vote. This is last year's book, and it said the previous December, KACCT adopted this statement. and they wanted to be affixed to the room, and they were supportive of an affirmation annually. They didn't adopt that statement. They were just simply supporting of it. And in here it says, the trustees will speak with one voice once a decision or policy is made. That's not right. I cannot sign anything that says that I can't express why I voted the way I did, even though if I vote no.
I don't think
Speaking
that's
with-
what that
Says speak with one voice. That's what I mean. Speak
No,
in
I think
unison.
what it means is that you acknowledge that the board decided this and you don't actively work to undercut that. But if you want to explain that I
It would
voted
say
against
that
it.
verbiage would support the board's decisions in public. Not speak with one voice. So I just feel like I'm being pigeonholed. Ooh, Shelby votes against these nice, warm, feely things. He's not a good trustee. It's like, no, you can't mandate my speech. I've said it a million times. That's the only reason I'm not voting for it. I didn't vote for it last time. So that's all my discussion.
It's been on the wall for a year now. I don't care if it's my niece.
Where is it now?
Right there.
No, I mean,
No, I haven't.
okay.
Any other comments?
I don't read it the same way you do. I read it as once we make a decision, whether it's a 5-2 decision, 6-0 decision, 7-0 decision, and or a whatever, and I'm in the minority if whatever it was passed, then I'm not going to undermine it and say, oh, well, I didn't, the board as a whole agreed with it, now I may have not, but the board agreed with it.
I'm not against saying that's what the majority voted and the board acts as a majority vote. That's not what I'm saying at all. It says I must.
Well, I
speak with
think
one
that's
voice.
how I read this.
Well, that's not what it said.
I don't think that's being read correctly. But it's neither here nor there. I'm ready to drive
Just look
on.
on it,
Take a
move
vote.
on. I want to go to bed.
You ready?
Yes.
Trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Brungard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes.
Yes.
Trustee Winslow,
No.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
No,
Okay, that passes 4-2. This will give
That's
trustee
the date.
Brungard an opportunity to sign
Yeah,
it
we'll
when she.
catch up with her on
when
when
she
she
gets
comes
back.
back in February and see if she wants to sign it or not.
Next action item is the approval of the agreement with the pro-train trainer. Who is something.
Well, usually these are the things that are on the consent agenda and it just ended up on the board action agenda. This is just an agreement with a third party provider. We do this through Beta, who offers opportunities and basically it's a pass through. They'll serve as the pro train is the actual face-to-face trainer. We provide that opportunity for people to enroll and then we help register and take their money and stuff. And so there's no cost to us.
These are for online courses.
I don't know about all of the pro train stuff, whether it's all online. Some of the stuff they may do, might be face-to-face, but generally a lot of this stuff is online. So, and it's offered through our business education training analysis, our
It could be
non-credit
for a
side.
particular business,
Yeah.
where they want you to come and do
Yeah.
a training for a particular business
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to help with certification of
Right.
that particular business.
And we don't provide, we're not the ones providing the instructors or the space or the technology or anything. The vendor Pro Train is doing that. We're simply helping promote those for them. There's no cost to us, but we get a cut of the registration and the fees that they charge.
Would entertain a motion to approve the.
I move that the board approve the agreement with Prote.
I second.
Any further, you,
I had a couple
Shelby, do you have a
questions.
question?
How does Pro Train, how are they gonna represent BCCC?
Well, we need John Kressler here, I guess, to share that. What we'll do is, I think, what we'll do is list the options that Pro Train has through some of our vendor catalog. I don't know that if they use our logo for those kinds of things, then they have to go through marketing if they put our logo on, on anything, but they don't advertise for us or anything like that. We'll just add this vendor to our catalog of choices that people can access for online training. So,
This is not to take accreditation classes? This is just.
No,
side
these are
trip?
all non-credit, this is all non-credit stuff.
Wasn't very clear in there. I'm like, I didn't
Yeah,
understand.
well, this is just their agreement, so. These are, we approve third-party vendor stuff through Beta, quite often. We provide the.
They did
some
mention
of that
there's
pass
a lot of testing, either live testing or. I mean, I didn't know. So please explain the training. It's just business training that has nothing to do with your
Not with
grade.
any of our degree
credit
programs or
hours or-
anything, no. No,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just a
the-
non-credit option that we
They
provide.
could take
If you
some
Google it. there is a
miscellaneous.
list.
I did. You can take some miscellaneous training and Butler will get a small cut.
We get some money because we've registered people. We're serving as kind of the pass-through as the manager of the registration. We do that for other vendors as well.
Any other comments or questions?
Trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Brongard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes,
Yes.
trustee Winslow,
Yes.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 6-0. Moving on, we have the approval of the Augusta Neighborhood Revitalization Plan that starts at page 21 of the board
Mhm.
book.
I would move to approve that as written.
Thanks.
Do we have a
Yeah.
second?
We go over it every year.
Fit from that.
We've got a motion.
I'd like to discuss it.
No,
Me too, briefly, but let's drive.
Okay, let me make the motion and then.
I want to read
Or
every
you-
page with my 5 minutes.
Make the motion and
So,
I'll second.
I
it.
have a
I did
motion.
it
by
already.
Shelby,
Oh, okay.
second by Linda.
Okay.
So we have a motion second on the floor. So go ahead, Shelby. Did you have
She
a
did.
comment?
I can second.
No, this is just one thing. I mean, it obviously reducing people's taxes allows them to build because there's too big a tax burden in this area.
Yeah.
And whoever's watching, if anyone is watching and you go to do this, go to the inspector and fill out the form prior to construction. If you don't fill out the form prior, you get 0 credit. And they don't tell you. You go to pull permits, they're like, here's your permit. Yes, I did, obviously.
Uh-oh.
They're like, hey, where's my little form? So I could save my tax money. And they're like, oh, you don't get it because you didn't fill out your thing 6 months ago. It's like, why didn't you tell me? I don't know. So kinda on you to know that you have to request your form prior to pulling a permit. So
Well,
Any other
Baldwin County's only grown, it's grown less than 1% in 10 years, so I'm always for, especially neighborhood revitalization. We've got some going in Rose Hill right now. And we don't have enough rentals, and so somebody is coming in, they're building rentals. They are three-bedroom, 2 baths, come on. Good rental. Hopefully.
Ready? Trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Brongard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes.
Yes.
Trustee Winslow,
Yes.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
yes,
Okay. That passes 6-0. Next topic is on page 36 of the board book. It's our approval of our updated mission and vision. Would entertain a motion to approve it.
So moved. I move that we approve the updated mission and vision statement.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion, comments, questions? Dr. Cullen and Dad.
Corey Tubner is here and Dr. Terry Sater. They were both key in the smaller committee that worked this fall to really kind of finalize and put the ideas together and use the survey results that we had gotten. And so if you've got some questions for the process for Corey, I think he'd be happy to present, but the prior mission and vision statements, I think had been in place since 2005, maybe. Yeah. And through forums and everything, it was determined that it was time for an update. So,
So the
Yeah.
professional association is happy with this.
Terry?
Professional Association fully supports.
Just
I
for,
just
Mary
just
Martha did.
for the benefit of those that
First.
might be listening and
Linda Jolly seconded.
correct me if I misstate, Dr.
Maybe.
Sater. I think the sum
I
is
think
the
Mary Martha.
professional association fully supports the proposed mission and vision. Okay. You didn't have a microphone, so I just want to make sure
I'm
it was captured.
I
No
was gonna
worries.
say, I think I said that, but
Any other comments, questions?
me would be just my 2 cents of. It's 2023, so we have to have inclusive written in there. I think it was fine the way it was written. Maybe some board input prior would have been nice, but I'm ready to vote either way.
Oh, you mean input from us?
Well, that's what we're doing now.
No, we're just approving,
You don't have to.
aren't we?
We,
I think
we-
we ever got
We've
that.
recommended approval, but you can certainly discuss it
No, I
and
mean-
you can ask Corey and
We-
Dr. Sater questions
not
if you want.
Ask what they took.
we don't input, we approve what Dr. Kroll presents to us, and that's where we are right now. If you have a problem with it, then now is the time to say it. If you don't want to support it because of something in here,
Forrest,
now is the time.
Don't get all bent out of shape.
I'm
I
not bent
just
out of shape.
questioned it. It would really be nice if we could reverse roles a little bit sometimes and have a little bit more input from the board of trustees. Instead of just going along with everything that's recommended without questions.
Okay, can we just?
Yeah,
move
we
forward?
need to stop.
Let's call the que-
Call the question and vote, please.
Don't call the question because that's a separate vote.
Yeah.
Trustee-
Let's just vote.
Can we vote?
Yeah.
Trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Brungard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes.
Yes,
Trustee Winslow,
Yes,
trustee Shear,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
No.
okay, that passes 5-1.
And for all those that
Thank you.
worked on that, thank you for your
Yes.
time.
Yes, those
There
can
was a
be.
lot of
Thank
input.
you. Thank you.
We had a lot of input from folks over the last year and a half, and we appreciate that. So.
Okay, next item is the violation of board policy. As that involves me, I will turn the mic over to Mary Martha.
I will read what Kim sent me. Dear Mary Martha, I am writing this on behalf of myself and copying Dave and Linda so they can chime in as they see fit. We met as a committee regarding the potential policy violation by Forrest. And I think we are all in agreement that the policy was violated as we were not shown the communication in advance of the meeting. Unfortunately, I'm unable to attend the next meeting as I'm currently in Norway with my kids. So any consequence of this violation will not be up to me. I will say that I would like to move on past these policy issues and focus on the more pressing issues of the board. That said, I believe bringing the issue to light was appropriate based on the conversation regarding policies at the last meeting. Going forward, I see no point in dwelling on either situation, and I hope the point has been made in both instances. Sincerely, Kim Brungard. So no action, as I see it. Am I correct? Ms.
Correct.
Jolly, Mr. Shear?
It's my understanding we take no corrective action.
We do need to vote whether it was violated or not. But I'm seeking no action either. I just want to make the point. We're trying to penalize Julie for not talking. Whereas Forrest had no penalty for actually talking. Which was a blatant violation. Hers was a should violation. It's just. I would like everybody to be treated the same.
Well, at the time that happened with Forrest, it was very clear from people that they felt that there had been a violation. Part of our discussion the other day is these same standards are being violated at every meeting. So are we going to go back and talk about when people aren't civil at every meeting, when all these things happen? Let's don't continue to waste our time or do one of two things. Change what we're holding people to. And, or, decide that we're gonna be professional and step up and do what we need to do. I don't think in my interaction with Forrest after the fact, I think he realized that people took exception to him doing that. So, as I said, are we going to do it and that's kind of what Kim's talking about. Are we going to bring something up every month? Or are we gonna move forward and try to be professionals and do what we need to be doing?
I agree.
So we had no action last month and we recommended, or I'm gonna recommend no action this month, and I don't know where Dave.
And I'll second that.
I
So
did have a
is-
couple questions on it, though, if we had the chance. I was just wondering where the statement came from that you read. Did you create that 100% on your own?
Yes,
With zero input from Dr. Kroll?
yes.
She didn't ask you to do it, you just felt like it was a good idea on your own?
Does everybody, and now let me just get some context here, and I don't want to make more out of this because it sounds like we don't want to.
Right.
This occurred in the midst of bargaining with the association. The association newsletter had put out a number of just false statements
Right.
that were rhetoric as part of the negotiation process. And if you've done collective bargaining before, it's not entirely unusual, but the statements were still false. The statements were trying to portray that Dr. Kroll was pushing an agenda that in fact she was taking direction from the board, which is how the process works. My comment, which I felt like as the chair, I was simply stepping in to provide support for Dr. Kroll. I was called out at the time by several. So for this to come up 10 months later is petty and childish. It's a tit for tat. Someone filed a complaint against somebody else, so I'm going to file a complaint against Forrest. We shouldn't be dealing with it now. If you had a problem with it, we should have dealt with it in March of last year or at the February meeting where you called me out on the record.
Maybe I just thought it was too petty to call out with that vote.
I
It's
didn't
not
call
your,
you.
it's not your floor right now. You
Julie
asked
called
me
you
a
out
question.
and Kim called you out. I did not.
Okay, so I'm sorry. There were several that called me out and I acknowledge that in the future, I would certainly make you all aware of the statement. It was made in public. Everybody heard what it was. Those that didn't like it challenged me on the spot. But no one put me up to doing it. It was entirely my decision after reading the language in the advocate that,
I just wanted that clarification.
yes,
And the tit for tat situation is, it happened in February. You said, hey, gotcha, okay, driving on. But then we get to Julie and it's like, we're gonna hold you accountable, we're gonna enforce our bylaws, and it's like, well, if you're gonna do it for Julie, I also want to point it out that we didn't do it for Forrest. That's the whole reason. To point it out, and I think we're at a consensus now, just like driving on, let's do better, let's be professional, let's quit bickering. And let's be a more professional board that moves this college forward in a productive manner.
So
Rather than comment, I'm going to move forward professionally with my response and just say, let's move forward.
So are you guys gonna vote on whether he violated the policy or not, that you did for Julie, or
We don't,
just,
that's fair.
is that gonna slide? I'm just asking,
When did we
gotta
vote
be-
on Julie's? Last month?
we voted twice. I made a motion, Julie made a second, and then you guys ignored it, and then you voted she violated. And we voted she didn't because of should, and then the original motion had to be voted on again, and we reversed our votes to just have it done.
So Mr. Shear and Miss Jolly, since you have agreed, we should all agree because you have recommended that we agree that Forrest did violate. Correct?
I make a motion and recommend that we agree Forrest violated. It's not actual policy though.
I don't
is
even
it?
know what it is. I'm alleged
It's
to have
more this
violated,
code of conduct.
but that was never specified,
So-
but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
and I would second that.
And I-
Recommend.
We
no
and
action of any
recommend
kind.
no, and let's
And then
make
the
it all in
second
one
piece-
and recommend no action.
And recommend no action.
Instead of having two
Second.
motions, just have one.
But this has got to stop.
Yes.
And Julie, I'm looking at you. I'm
And I'm
tired.
looking at Linda. You
I'm
can look at
tired of
me.
it. I'm talking. It's got to stop. I've had it.
Mary Martha, I've had it too.
Julie,
Can I have the floor now? You denied me earlier. May I
Well, we
it
have a
now?
vote to do.
May I have it now?
Julie?
You can be supportive
Julie,
again.
just chill. This is the whole
So-
point. We need to keep tit for tat comments and backbiting. So
There is a
later,
motion and
whatever,
a second.
just,
Well, then
Before we
nobody
get-
gets to add anything further.
they can, but it's not be personal.
Yeah.
This is a nothing attack. Let's just make the vote and get on to the next item. What I,
I can tell you why the violation was made against Julie, though. I mean, we were,
Mary Martha, I thought we were gonna just go straight to the chase.
then,
and vote.
then I expect complete professionalism next meeting. From
That
all
goes
of us.
two ways.
Okay,
does.
Jennifer, let's,
Ready?
yes.
Trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Brungard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee
I don't get to vote.
sorry. Trustee Winslow,
Yes.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
Yes.
Mary Martha, thank you for taking that. Not that you had a choice, but thank you anyway. Okay, moving on. I guess we moved the approval of the minutes out of the consent agenda to the regular board action item. Shelby, did you have a specific issue?
Yeah, I would move to just add one sentence to page 43. And item D, well, actually, item E. And just say trustee Smith stated that board bylaws and state statutes state that trustees shall be paid mileage.
Wait, just a second.
Where is
Where are
this?
you?
Consent agenda, page 43.
What paragraph?
Sorry, the minutes of the consent agenda, page 43,
E,
E.
okay,
E
Right
up at the
before
top. of the
Dr.
page.
Says Dr.
Oh.
Kroll stated the board bylaws state
Oh, that should
trustees
be,
can be reimbursed.
and it shall,
you want it to
Well,
say,
Trust,
trustee Shelby.
Dr. Kroll could have said that. I'm not
Oh.
disputing what she said.
but you want it shall.
I want it shown that trustee Smith stated board bylaws and state statute state that trustees shall be paid mileage. And that was just me bringing up another point or talking about all this bylaw stuff and we ignore ones that say shall. And it says it both state and local.
Okay, read the last sentence then, that way you want it, how you want it to be read.
Trustee Smith stated that board bylaws and state statute state that trustees shall be paid mileage, period. That's it. That's
Can
what I
you
had
get
one
that,
sentence.
Jennifer?
Got it.
She'll get it off the video too if she.
Yep.
No other changes. Just-
Thank you.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I said I moved it. Yeah.
I'll second it too.
Julie beat you to it.
On third.
All right, trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Brungard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes,
Yes.
trustee Winslow, trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
Yes.
And I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Sorry, that was Dave moved and Shelby seconded.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Brungard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes.
Yes.
Trustee Winslow,
Yes.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
Yes.
Would entertain a
And-
motion to approve the
And I
consent
move that
agenda
we
as it's been
approve the
amended.
consent agenda as presented.
I'd second that motion.
My only discussion is at some point, I'd maybe like to talk about that retirement a little bit.
What are you talking about?
Oh, it's Mel.
Mel's
Whiteside
resignation.
retired, and
His
looks
resignation.
like WSU scooped him up.
He-
Or,
He worked for WSU before he came to Butler. He's going to go to work in the engineering department and work on business partnerships and stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah, he. I don't know how long he was at WSU, but he was at WSU before he came to Butler 6 or 7 years ago. So he still had great contacts and relationships with them. So,
He will be missed though.
So trustee Good,
Yes.
trustee Brungard is absent, trustee Jolly,
Yes.
trustee Rhodes.
Yes.
Trustee Winslow,
Yes.
trustee Shearer,
Yes.
trustee Smith.
yes.
Moving on to our supplemental information, Dr. Mohammed.
We're 50 minutes ahead, so.
I was gonna
it's
say,
something to-
sorry, will you?
I think after last month, we're like.
Yeah, can we hurry?
Before I address Shelby's question, if you give me a minute, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to respond to something trustee Winslow asked me last.
2 minutes.
Fair enough. I'll go quick. Trustee Winslow last time had asked me if I could give her an indication of what kind of usage we are having with our visa retention software. Did look into it, trustee Winslow. At this time, about 47% of our full-time faculty are using it regularly. And about 6% of the adjuncts are. So that's right now the usage information I have for you.
Do something to make that a little bit better.
How much power are you going to give me?
That's up to Dr. Crow, not me.
It's, I mean, in fairness, I know our faculty development team is trying that. Some of the deans are trying that. It is taking some effort. I mean, it's a big employee base. I mean, you know, when it started out the first year, I think we were looking at about 17%. So it has gone
So it's
up.
better.
It is definitely it's better. And but there is but there is, sure, and there is an opportunity to make it further better, absolutely.
It's not a requirement. We don't require it of the faculty and we don't require it of the staff. We encourage its use. It's a powerful tool. But it's certainly choice for whether they want to engage in it or not.
But it's not choice once we buy it, right?
Well, we purchased it, but we don't, there are a lot of things that we purchased that we don't require people to do, you know? I don't know. I think that's choice. That's a personal choice that the faculty have and that the staff have about whether they want to use that software. It's kind of the same way with Adobe Creative. You know, we put the licensing out there, we put the option out there, but I'm not going to say to our employees, you're absolutely required to use Adobe Creative. And if you don't, then you don't have a job here. That's kind of not the way it works. So
And
we
s-
encourage
and
as
some
much as we can.
programs- Some
And-
programs fit some areas better than
Yeah.
other programs.
And I think the other thing is that, you know, with the Visa is a good example, you know, you encourage people to use it, and then through PDD and some things like that, you know, training sessions, and folks can share with each other the, you know, the importance and the productivity and the positive kinds of things of being able to use it, and that, you know, that engages other users as well. But no, we have not placed a mandate on anybody that they have to use a Visa.
Mr. Shelby's question. Dr. Krell was kind enough to let me know your question over the weekend. I was trying to figure out what was being asked I think you mentioned the term final numbers for fall. I've struggled a little bit with it because in the sequence of time, final means, well, what's the last number we got at the end of the term? So I'll give you this, the very last number, credit hour numbers we had for fall 22 was 62,135, 62135. That compares to the census day number that I shared last time I was here, which was 62656.
One more time, 6-2.
62656. Now, does that mean that we have lost revenue on that? No. And here is why. Because official numbers are the census day numbers. And this is every day, just like the population, every day enrollment changes from day one to the end of the term. The closest we get to revenue numbers, which is I think what you're getting at, the closest we get to revenue numbers for credit hours is on census day. So when all this is done, if in a couple of weeks, somebody were to ask us, well, for fall 2022, how many credit hours did you sell and get money for? If that is being asked, the closed number is the census day plus a couple of hundred extra. And here is why. Because we do have an intersession, which is at the end of fall, goes into January, I think, for the first couple of days. So we don't count them in the census day numbers. So that's a couple of hundred more hours. But also there are times that students are dropping classes after the drop days. So basically we're not refunding them. So when it comes to, if you're talking about revenue credit hour numbers, the census day numbers plus a few hundred, and I don't have the exact number yet. That is the most accurate one. If you're talking about census, if you're talking about revenue credit hours, if that answers your question.
I think so. I just wanted to see how it all panned out at the end of the day.
And it is, and this kind of churn from day 20 to day end of term is pretty normal. But that doesn't mean that we just sold 62,000 hours. It is quite a bit more than that. So on a given census day is the closest we get to the revenue credit hours. Census day plus about 1%.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we got paid for 62,656 hours, correct?
Give or take, yes.
But actual were 62,135.
It depends on which, no, it depends on what do you, if you think about it, Mrs. Good, if somebody asks you what's the population of Kansas, by the time you get out of here, that would have changed probably.
Right.
Unless people are not having kids and nobody's dying. So it's that kind of a thing that it changes almost by the day. Officially, the Board of Regents requires us to report the official numbers for census day only. That is the official number. So if somebody asks us, well, what was your fall 22 count or fall 20 count? It'll always be the census day count is the official one.
And the census day is 62,656.
That is correct.
Thank you.
And part of it was that, you know, back in the day when I was in college and had hair, all classes were 16 weeks. So 20th day was the day, but now things have changed a little bit. And well, our rules haven't, at least the Board of Regents rules haven't always kept.
When a student, after census day, if a student doesn't drop the class until December, you still get paid for those hours. And the student loses.
That's a question for student services team, and I only kind of fudge on that a little bit because there are always some exceptions, some petitioning which can be done. So I'll fudge on that a little bit.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
One other thing, Mr. Chairman, I know Mrs. Good, you were not here the last meeting when I passed out the 20th day course by course numbers. I'll be happy to provide you that.
Thank
They're
you.
actually
I
in
think
there.
we gave
They're in
them-
the-
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Even better.
That were approved.
Okay.
Page
Thank-
46.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Kroll.
Yeah, not much on the calendar since we're just getting started, but did we decide you're having a work session? Is that right? Did we decide that?
Yes. Or not.
I see it.
I could go either way if we don't really have that much to talk about.
I don't-
Dr. Mohammed just said those are the numbers, so we've got them in our book if we want to look at them.
Want to wait until February then? I mean,
I think I'm
not
fine.
worry about the work session in January?
Perfect.
I don't have any grandkids yet, so I don't have an excuse.
Just you wait.
You don't have to keep them.
No.
See me after.
I
my
gotta tell you what
7
my wife
days.
said one time. Can I say it on camera? I'll get in trouble.
Then there will be a record of it.
Ball games and stuff, ball games coming up. Classes begin a week from today.
There's a ball game tomorrow night, I think.
There is a ball game tomorrow night. Yes,
That's a big game.
the big one. Women play at 5:30 and men at 7:30.
So all of the activities on page 77, those are all at home. Okay, perfect.
I don't
Thank you.
know. And there'll be more stuff in the next board. book
Sure.
For spring. But
Would entertain a motion to adjourn unless we have.
I'd make a motion to adjourn at 6:22.
And you already seconded it.
15 seconds. Okay.
We need some discussion.
Even with all the shenanigans I threw in. the
Trustee
middle
Good.
earlier.
Yes.
Trustee Brungard is absent. Trustee Jolly.
yes.
Trustee Rhodes.
Yes.
Trustee Winslow. Trustee Shearer.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
I forgot to tell you, I'm gonna email you. We have a recital coming up next week. Amanda Henniger. And I don't remember the gentleman's name. She's our new piano instructor. And plays for all of the productions and stuff like that. She's doing a recital and I think it's on the 19th maybe, but I'll send you, it'll be phenomenal. I'll send you the date,
Yes.
and time and everything. It'll be in our theater.
I hope she'll continue to do that.
Yeah, I
this
think it's a
year.
great.
I love when our instructors